Given this depiction of what's going on as far as increasing, decreasing, and the concavity, up and down, we can sketch a graph of this function from 0 to 2 pi. So here's the y-axis and the x-axis. This is obviously 0. Here is 2 pi. So halfway through would be pi. Halfway between there's pi over 2. Halfway between here, 3 pi over 2. It might help you to plot the maximum and minimum values. So at 2 pi, we're all the way up at, we found an approximation of 8. So at 2 pi, the absolute maximum value was 8.8, even bigger than 8. So I'll plot this point, absolute maximum. The absolute minimum value was -2 at 0, so this scales 4. -2 would be right here at 0. And then we have relative extreme values, max and minimums, that were So what I like to do are plot these extreme values, max and mins. So we have an absolute min down here, relative max, absolute max at 2 pi, and then a relative min at 5 pi over 3. So once we get those points plotted, we can look at these points of inflection. Somewhere along where x equals pi over 2, we have a point of inflection, and at 3 pi over 2, there's a point of inflection. So I'm not particularly sure. I never went back and got the y values for those, but somewhere along that vertical line, we have to change concavity. Then down here, I'll indicate to myself what kind of concavity I need. Concave up first, then concave down, then concave up. So now I have to start the sketch. I start at 0, and I'm going up to this relative maximum, but to get there I need to be concave up first and not get any lower than 0, right? Concave up, but no lower than 0. And then I need to turn around and be concave down at pi over 2, but not get any higher than my maximum. So I kind of overshot that a little bit. Let me go back and sketch it a little better. Concave down, but not any higher than my maximum. So I'm slowly increasing to the max, and then I can be going back down. Now I can't do very much here, very flat, but still concave down. Then I turn around and be concave up across the point of inflection, and I'd be frustrated that the relative mins and maxes are not very far apart from each other, so it won't hurt my feeling to just adjust this relative minimum, which I think was at like 8.06 or something, and just pretend like that's 8.06 down there wherever I drew my line, because that's not very different than 8.2. Okay, so now I'm concave down to the min, still concave down, but now increasing to the maximum. So there I've met all the requirements and made this okay looking sketch of the graph where I have a point of inflection at pi over 2 and a point of inflection or a changing concavity at 3 pi over 2. If I wanted to, I could re-sketch it so it looked a little bit nicer, but this gets the point across.